I wrote some notes on Max because there was too much to memorize, to be quite honest with you. And so I'm going to just read them off, and they're going to build, and then we're going to bring Max up here, and he is going to talk to you about the Unicorn TikTok ad strategy. You guys ready? Okay, so he's the president of the Unicorn Innovations and Unicorn Traffic. He's obviously an experienced marketer and investor in the internet marketing world for over the last 10 years. I don't know why he looks like he's 22. He started his first e-com business 10 years ago called Startup Drugs, which sold to Russell Brunson. He's built a full-service agency, marketing agency called Quantum Media with Kevin Harrington, as you know from Shark Tank. He currently owns a portfolio of businesses, including an agency, a marketing education company, e-commerce, different brands, and a SaaS company. He's trained over 10,000 marketers, generated over $250 million in direct revenue for his clients. He's been on some of the biggest stages in the world, like Social Media Marketing World, Affiliate World, Affiliate Summit, and Ad World. He has created trainings for not only digital marketer, ClickBank, Kajabi, and Smart Marketer, all the way from Orlando and here at TNC for the second year in a row. Will you guys please give it up for Max Finn?
Welcome music, it's great.
We'll get your slides up.
What's up, brother?
Awesome.
Thanks, man, I appreciate it.
Yep.
This was the first year I got to choose walkout music, which is a big highlight for me. That's a big win. If I only get one thing out of this, it's the fact that I got to play Jelly Roll. And hopefully, if everyone could just like take a picture and tag Jelly Roll and say, this guy walked out to music, maybe you'll be a fan of him when I go to his concert, like in 6 months or so. Before I get started on TikTok, I want to let people kind of trickle in here. Just a pro speaker tip for everyone here. So if you really want to figure out how to have like a good talk, what you do is you bring your entire company to the event, and then you put them in the audience, and then you do the hand signals. So like if I do like certain things throughout the talk, there you go. So if anybody's clapping for me, it's the row right there, and that's because they're here just to clap. So let's dive into TikTok. You already got the intro, the about me. We'll go through this in like 30 seconds. Most important thing in my life are those two things, being a dad, being a husband. One of the hardest things I've ever done is doing photo shoots every year. So TikTok ads, running businesses is like, this is so easy. Being up here talking is like really easy. Trying to get him to smile and me to smile, my wife to smile without her killing all of us is ridiculously hard. I've been buying media for a long time. I've run ads for some really cool people, really cool companies like 3M, Onnit, ClickFunnels, Snow Teeth Whitening, Posh Peanut, a lot of amazing companies, created educational programs for ClickBank, Digital Marketer, Smart Marketer, and I was one of the first advertisers on TikTok. So it's been really cool for me to get to see this journey, right? Like I was pretty early to Facebook. Some people in the audience, Nick right there, like we kind of got started at the same time. We were kind of early on Facebook, but not like the first on Facebook, right? With TikTok, it was one of these things where like you could truly be the first on a platform, be like really early, and then see this platform just explode and make a lot of mistakes, right? Lots of flops, lots of trial and error, but it's been really exciting to see this platform grow. So what are we gonna talk about today? So when you leave, you're gonna get 3 things, okay? And pretty much this is an interesting talk because this is the first talk I've given where I think like, this is like a course that we're gonna be doing in this 45 minutes we have together. Where like you're gonna walk away with an exact blueprint of how we buy media on TikTok from day 1 all the way to scale. So everything between we're gonna cover. It's gonna be a lot of stuff. I talk very fast. I use big words. I'm gonna try to condense it as much as I can. We're gonna talk about creative strategy, and then we're also gonna talk about some really cool advanced strategies that we use internally that up until this talk, this is the first time I've done this talk on this stage, so you guys are getting this content for the first time, have been reserved for high-ticket clients, agency clients. So you guys are getting that. And this isn't just strategy or theory. This is stuff we do every single day on the agency side, on the educational side, teaching real businesses that implement this stuff. We can actually see the data, see the results, and then take those results and bring those strategies to you. So millions of dollars to spend across dozens of accounts. This is the blueprint. Now, don't take pictures because you're gonna get it at the end. So I know you want to take a picture of it, but that picture is going to be such crap compared to you're going to get a QR code at the end. You can use the phone, and then you can scan it, and we'll send it to you for free. So you're going to get this exact blueprint and the presentation. We'll send it to you. What we're going to do is basically go through here and break down each one of these pieces, talk about how to set them up, how to build them, who to target, what ads to use, some other cool stuff sprinkled without in the blueprint itself. my one office gift for the day is this one. So don't get overwhelmed. I'm going to try to explain this as basically as I can, and I promise this is the only office-related joke or gift that I will use today. Usually there's at least 3 or 4, so you get one today. Okay, let's start with the initial launch phase. So this is really broken down into initial launch phase, testing, optimization, and scaling. So those are the 3 buckets we're going to talk about today. So number 1, let's talk about campaign number 1. So we have a video views campaign. All these slides are going to be built around campaigns that we're going to run, okay? So this is the objective. It's a video view campaign. It's going to be a single campaign we're going to run. We're going to run one ad group. That ad group is going to be broad. We're going to target everybody. The only difference, the only caveat here is if you're selling a product that is not relevant to a demographic. Let's say you sell feminine products and no man would ever buy your product. Don't target men, but target all women 18 plus. We're going to keep the audience wide open. We're going to run 2 to 4 videos in here. And what we're going to do, part 1 is we're using this to build up some spend, build up some data. Part 2 is we're using the strategy to get people to raise their hand and say, I'm your customer. I have the problem that you solve with your product. I need what you have. That's the idea of this. So we're building buckets up of audiences that we can then retarget with our offer. And we do this because the platforms day one are not good enough to know that. As you get spend, as you get conversions, TikTok, Meta, all the platforms, start to figure out who your customer is. You can go broad, you can go wide open, conversion ads, direct to offer, the algorithms get pretty good. Early on, we need to give it some help. So what do these ads look like? What's the purpose of these ads? These are going to be edutaining ads. And what I mean by that is educational, entertaining. We should not be pitching, we should not be selling. The content of these ads should only be relevant to our target customer. So for example, the one on the left right there is 3 tips guaranteed to make your TikTok ads more profitable. And it breaks down, here's 3 tips. You do this, you do this, you do this, you get more profitable TikTok ads. No pitch, no nothing, it's just content. Why I do that is because I know if you watch that video, you're probably a business owner, you're probably advertising or beginning to advertise, you're probably on TikTok or you're thinking of getting on TikTok, and you probably want to do better with those ads. Well, guess what? That's exactly who I want to sell my product to. If I want to teach you how to run TikTok ads, I want that person. So I create content that speaks directly to that person. They watch that video, they raise their hand, hey, I'm the person that has the problem you solve. You just agitate the problem a little more. Now I can retarget that person in a custom audience, right, which you can create on TikTok, you can create on Meta, retarget that person with another ad to my offer, and they're more likely to buy my product because they've been agitated, they're aware of me, there's some authority, some trust there. Campaign number 2, community interaction campaign. Caveat here, this is only for new businesses. If you're brand new, if you have no followers on TikTok, you're just getting started, and you're not running a business profile. We want to run this because we want to hit 1,000 followers. The reason we want to hit 1,000 followers is we want to unlock link in bio. Because as you're running stuff on TikTok, you're going to be growing your following, you're going to get more organic visitors, and we want people to be able to go and buy your product. So they click your profile, because a lot of people judge books by the cover, they go to your profile, here's your link, click it, I can go buy your product. It makes it a little easier, less friction. And so you need 1,000 followers to unlock that feature. So we run this objective, really simple, target your target audience, right? Put some interests in there that are directly relevant to our target customer. Don't go out there and target Vietnam or the Philippines. Target exactly who you target with your conversion ads. The only difference is this is a campaign objective, community interaction, 4 followers, hit 1,000 followers. If you want to keep going and keep growing your following, you can. If not, you can pause the ads and you're good to go. Campaign number 3, this is where we actually start selling stuff and actually start making money, which everyone really cares about this, right, getting started. So this is a custom conversion campaign. This is a website conversion campaign. We're going to create 3 ad groups here. So the audience are going to be broad, zero targeting. Again, going back to that slide a few slides ago, if you're targeting a totally masculine offer, right, really manly offer, and women don't buy your product, no, not even 2%, 5%, don't target women. But other than that, keep it wide open age, wide open gender. You're not putting interests, you're not putting behaviors, you're not putting anything else in there. Then we have stacked interests. So this is going to be a combination of relevant interests that are directly relevant to your target offer. Then we're going to look at something like a purchase intention audience over here. I really like purchase intentions. Essentially what you're telling TikTok is, hey, let's say you have a marketing advertising interest. It's about 30 million people on TikTok of people interested in marketing advertising. But interest is a loose term, okay? What purchase intention does is it's a slice of that bigger 30 million person audience. It's about 2 million people in size in the United States, of people based on their behavior in the app expressed to TikTok, they're more likely to buy the product. So they don't just show interest in this, they also buy stuff in marketing advertising. So you're going to typically get higher conversion rates, you might get higher CPMs, higher costs, but it's a balancing act of which one's going up faster. 4 ads under each one of these. We're starting as $50 a day. The optimization event for each one of these ad groups in terms of what's my goal? What am I telling TikTok I want to happen? We're starting with either add to carts for e-com, or if you're running a book a call funnel, a webinar type funnel, we'll run complete registrations, which is a lead event. The reason we're doing this, we want to build up some data, we want to get some traction on the platform, we're going to run these until we hit 50 of those conversion events attributed through TikTok, and then we're going to move to the next phase, which is getting purchases. And like I said, $50 a day, 4 ads under these. Ideally, all 4 of these ads are totally unique, right? Don't just throw up 4 ads where it's like the same ad, but just 4 different hooks. We want to take kind of 4 different swings here, because we're going to increase the odds we're going to find a winner out of the gate. So here's a little pro tip. We're kind of sprinkling these in throughout the presentation. So one of the things that we've done with our company on the unicorn traffic side is begin to build out things called authority profiles. So our biggest one is called Health Geek. It's this property right here. We have it across Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We have about 180,000 followers across these platforms. We run a lot of health offers, okay? So we can run those offers from the brand. So let's say we run ads for Onnit, for their Alpha Brain supplement, okay? We can run from Onnit's page, and there are benefits to doing that. Onnit's a big brand, they have authority, there's trust, there's credibility, it might be verified, so we get to piggyback on that. The downside is it comes off as biased, right? If you're seeing an ad from a brand, it's clearly trying to sell me something. When we run from an authority profile like Health Geek, it's not coming from the brand. So it can come off a little more objective. We can run different types of ads from here. We can run reviews, we can run listicles, we can run to advertorials, things that aren't direct to an offer page. We're also building an asset here, okay? So we're building something in addition to our core business that has value to our business. We get free creative testing. We can put organic posts up on this profile, 2 different offers, different products, test angles out for free, see what works, take things that work, move it into our paid environment, put a call to action in the back of it, and now we can run it as an ad. And then we can also build more retargeting audiences. So we can build up audiences that we can then re-engage from our brand. So we can run a review ad from Health Geek talking about, hey, we reviewed this top 5 nootropic supplements, here is our favorite. Then we can retarget from on its page with Alpha Brain. So, oh, I just saw that review talking about the top supplements from this Health Geek property. I just saw Alpha Brain was the winner. Now I see an ad from Onnit talking about Alpha Brain and going direct to the offer. So we have this 1-2 punch. We've been able to use this authority page to build trust, credibility, authority, and then the direct response element coming in from the branded page. Campaign number 4 is retargeting, right? This is pretty simple, pretty straightforward, but it's still surprising a lot of people don't set up retargeting really early on. They wait a while to start things going, which is crazy because you're spending money day one. You're building up warm audiences day one. People don't always buy day one. If you have an impulse product, a widget, something like that, sure. You're selling something that costs $100, a few $100, high consideration products. You want to have retargeting going for your product. So early on, we're lumping everything into one bucket, okay? You're not going to have, unless you're spending like $5,000, $10,000 out of the gate, you're not going to have enough people in these custom audiences for add to carts or initiate checkouts or page views to just retarget those people and split it up to like middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel, have different types of ads for different parts of the funnel. So we put everything in one bucket. We'll do 50% video views. We'll do ad clicks. We'll do page views. We'll do view content. We'll do add to carts. We'll do everything at 30 days. That gives us enough time window. Beyond 30 days, you start to lose the relevance, right? After 30 days, people are like, I don't remember seeing this ad. At 30 days, you're even lucky if that's the case. Usually like day one, people forget sometimes, but 30 days is a good time frame. Once you start getting to like the 5,000, 10,000 people minimum in that audience size, you can shrink it down to 14, then you go down to 7 and stay on the 7. That's the ideal place to be. But out of the gate, 30 days, 50% ad views, ad clicks, page views, view content, lump them all into one audience, minimum 2 ads. These ads will be a little different, right? Typically with TikTok, we're running shorter form, quick, fast-paced ads. With retargeting, you can run longer ads. You can run 45, 60-second ads, make it more review-based. You can make it more direct to camera. You can make it more experiential, describing the experience. Something we ran a while ago that worked really well, it's probably 2 years ago now, was from Goalie. And they had this awesome retargeting ad that worked really well on TikTok. It was a 2-part review ad where the first video was this person talking about Goalie and getting their ashwagandha product and the experience. And the video kind of abruptly ended and is like continuing the review on the next page. So you could create this 1-2 thing where you do part of a review on platform, drives off platform to a finished video talking about the rest of the review that then has the offer on it. So it creates this kind of curiosity loop where you're driving people from platform off platform because they need to close that loop. So here's a more advanced strategy, something we've been experimenting with for a bit. It's called the Triple E retargeting strategy here. And the idea behind this is this sequence on its own is not to sell stuff directly, but instead what this is aimed at doing is complementing what you're doing in direct response, meaning the ads that are driving people from platform to your sales page to buy, this is running in the background to support those ads. So you have entertainment, you have education, you have entrust. By the way, I know that entrust technically doesn't really mean what that, but it sounded good and I wanted to have this name. So it's like, you get it. It technically is trust, but we're gonna call it entrust because it works for this. So the Triple E, educate, entertain, entrust. And it's pretty self-explanatory, okay? So first sequence of ads is all gonna be entertainment-based content. So for me, I do a lot of videos talking about neuroscience, behavioral economics, marketing psychology. So I'll run videos like this where it's, why do supermarkets play music? And why do they play slow music? Well, the answer is they play slow music because it's slower than your heart rate. And when things are slower than your heart rate, you actually physically slow down. So when you hear slow music in stores, you actually physically move slower. You spend more time in the store, which means you spend more money. Okay, so I'll create videos like that. People like watching that stuff. It's still relevant though to being an authority in marketing. It's just a more educational, entertaining concept. Then we have our educational stuff. This goes a little deeper, okay? So this is gonna be direct tips. Here's how to create 10 times more ads with hook variations. Here's how to set up a retargeting campaign for TikTok. These are direct educational videos that are designed to build more authority, more trust, more credibility with people that have already maybe seen an ad from me. And then lastly, we have our kind of bottom of the funnel type review testimonial ads, which are building trust, credibility. People might have the objection, hey, does this person actually do what they say they do? Do they get results? All that good stuff. So we run these as video view ads, 3 separate ad groups. Each one basically starts when somebody enters the ecosystem. So you can create a custom audience, anybody that comes in. So a video view, a page view, whenever they enter our ecosystem, it triggers the start of these sequences. And you can just cycle in new ads. So if you have, for me, I'm shooting videos all the time. You have a bunch of new entertaining videos. You throw 4 new videos in there. You run them for a few weeks, you throw 4 more in there. You throw 4 more in there. So you're always getting new, fresh stuff and not kind of capping out the frequency. Same thing with the tip videos, same thing with the testimonial videos. And again, the idea here is you're supporting the other ads. So people are now seeing this. There's a lot of awareness. There's omnipresence across multiple channels. When they see the ad actually pitching the offer, they've seen lots of content from me. Right? If you do this, you'll see lots of content from you, from your business, hitting different objections. So ideally, when they get that final pitch, that final offer, you've blocked all the objections they might have, and they're like, I need to buy this. I've seen this person everywhere. They've taught me so much. They've given me so much value for free. I need to buy their paid stuff. Okay, let's do testing optimization here. So this is really where it gets valuable. Like the other stuff is all important, but this is where it starts to get like really, really important, especially when it comes to things like creative testing, which is going to be the next slide here. So first thing is once you hit those 50 conversion events from the last campaign I talked about, where you're doing add to carts or leads, once you hit that threshold, you're going to create a new campaign, same thing, website conversion campaign. All you're doing, the only difference here, same audiences, same ads, is you're going from add to carts to complete payments. So you're switching the objective, you're going one step further down funnel. You're now telling TikTok, send me people most likely to actually click my ad and buy my product. Okay, that's the only change here. And this is where you're gonna live going forward. All the new ad groups, all the new campaigns will be optimizing for complete payment. Actually, I'm going to do one note here. So the only note on this, occasionally you'll find campaigns and accounts where a complete registration or an add to cart might actually outperform complete payments because it's a matter of which is going up or down more, the conversion rate or the CPM or the cost. And so you might test this and say, hey, add to carts or complete registration is actually performing better. Maybe I'll stay there and really scale that up. So you just want to keep an eye on which one's better. Usually it's going to be the complete payment campaign. All right, so creative testing. This is like, if you had to walk away with one thing from today's presentation, right, just one thing, it would be doing creative testing. And this isn't just for TikTok. This is for everything, right? This is for Facebook, for all your ad channels, right? One of my partners, Will here, like talks about this all for Facebook. Like this is it's such a critical part of our business that we integrate this into everything we do at Unicorn Traffic, right? And so when it comes to creative testing, what you're doing is you're using that initial campaign, that prospecting campaign, to find a control, to find a winner, an audience, okay? So let's say that audience is broad, zero targeting, that audience performed best and it's profitable. That now becomes my control for creative testing. So I'm gonna create a new campaign. That campaign is gonna be called creative testing. The audience I'm gonna use in there is broad. Now the reason I'm doing that is because I want to control as many variables as possible. I don't want to be testing audiences and creative at the same time because then I don't know why this is working or not working. Is it because the video is really good or is it because the new audience is really good? I want to isolate variables. So we're going to take that broad ad group, we're going to move it into this campaign, we're going to put one new ad under that ad group. If we want to test 4 ads, we're going to create 4 ad groups. Each one will have a different ad under it. Again, the reason we do this is control. If I threw all the ads under one ad group, what happens? A lot of you probably experience this on other platforms. 80% of the spend goes to one ad. One ad starts soaking up all the spend. You can't test the other 3, right? The whole point of this is creative testing. I want to control the variables. I want to make sure each ad gets the similar amount of spend. So $50 a day per ad group, per ad. So every ad gets the same chance at either winning or failing. And this is the power of it, right? So here's one of our members in our coaching group, and we implemented this for them. And you can just see if you look at the CPAs from every video we've tested, it just was in the 40s, then the 30s, then the 20s, until we finally found one down here that's $5, $5.60, whatever CPA. Their target's $10, $12. Cool, we found a winner. Let's scale it and let's find more like this, right? So it's such a powerful technique. We see this time and time again in accounts. We also see the opposite, which is if you see accounts that don't do this, they stay on one ad and nothing ever changes. You don't find winners if you don't test things. Now, one of the biggest challenges, one of the biggest roadblocks, and I'm sure a lot of people in the audience are experiencing this, probably thinking this in their head right now, is, well, this sounds great, Max. How do I create 10 videos a week? How do I create 20 videos a month to test? Can't do it. I'm a one-man, one-woman shop. I can't do it. Well, there's lots of really cool tools to support with this, right? Is it going to be as good today as if you had a full-time creator knocking out videos? No, not yet, but it's still really darn good, and there's a lot of cool AI tools. So here's a tool that we use called Creatify. Love this tool. It allows us to grab a link, so your product on your Shopify page, your Amazon link, your ClickFunnels page, grab the URL, you paste it in here. In 2 to 3 minutes, it analyzes the whole page, pulls all the media out, all the text out, analyzes it, creates scripts, multiple scripts. Then it creates, you pick the script you want to use, you can modify it, upload your own script. Then it creates 7 different variations of videos using hyper-realistic AI avatars that look just like you and I sitting here, delivering the script on camera in green screen effect videos, director camera videos. You can then edit those, you can modify them, add text overlays. They come out feeling like hyper-native TikTok videos, 9:16, you can do 4:5, you can do 16:9 for YouTube. There's no excuse today to not be making more creative. There are so many tools that are either free or cost next to nothing that allow you to pump out 10, 20, 40, 100 videos a month, images a month. And this is a great way to cost-effectively test things. You find one that works, cool, maybe now you go hire some UGC creators and actually shoot this with real people. So when do you kill ads? When do you scale ads? I'm actually going to show you on a next slide is going to break this down more text, and this is very hard to read. And you also get the blueprint, by the way. So you get a lucid chart. You can scroll into these things, look at them more deeply. This is what it actually comes down to. So really simple. You're going to run each one of these creative tests for a minimum of 48 hours. Okay? 4 to 8 hours, you're going to spend at least 2x your target CPA, your cost per acquisition. So let's say you're selling a $50 product, you have 75% margins, and your target's 50% margin. So you want to be at $25. You want to be at $25 CPA. That's your target. So I want to spend at least $50, run for 2 days. If I have no sales, no conversions, I kill the ad. Then another 24 hours minimum, spend threshold is 5x target CPA. If at that point my ad's not profitable, it's above break even, I'm then going to pause the ad. Pretty simple. The other thing with that too is like, what I try to articulate in these talks and when I meet with coaching students and clients is, I don't necessarily care whether you exactly follow what I'm telling you today, whether it's 48 or 72 or 98 hours, or if it's 3x CPA or 2x CPA. What matters is you have these in place for your business that work for your business and you just follow them. It becomes so much easier to run ads and find winners when you have systems that are replicatable, that you can train other people on, and they can actually use to scale accounts. So this is what we use, but you're welcome to modify that. If it works for your business, maybe you have a really high priced product. You need to spend more money to find a winner or not a winner. Maybe you have a really cheap product and you can get away with spending 4x target CPA or 3x target CPA. So what do you do once you find a winner? Another big mistake that people make. You work so hard testing ads to find a winner, and you see so many people find a winner, and what do? They instantly just go on over here and they look for another winner. Oh, cool, I found out it worked, awesome. I'm gonna look for another thing that works. It's like, well, you just worked really hard finding an angle that worked. Why would you just leave it? So what we do is we treat creative as modular, meaning it is pieces, not a whole. And when we treat creative as modular, what does that mean? It means we can take pieces and we can plug ones in. So we can take a video that works, like this video right here, and say, hey, why would we just create a whole new video when we can change little things? We can change the setting. So hey, like instead of Joe Rogan shooting this in the gym, have him shoot it in his studio, have him shoot it outside, really basic stuff. You could do a new creator. So instead of Joe Rogan, it's another big influencer. It's a regular person, it's a regular customer. Instead of him saying, here's why this is the only supplement I take before my show, it's him saying, here's the one thing I take before a stand-up act. Here's my secret weapon for my podcast. Different intro hooks, different things you say before you start your video, before it goes into the main part of your ad. New text. So the text overlay on TikTok, you don't have ad headlines, right? Meta, you have copy, you have an image, you have a headline, you have a newsfeed description, you have a call to action. With TikTok, you have a 9:16 full screen video with 1.5 lines of text that nobody reads. Use the text overlays to be your headline and test a lot of those. Because some people might not listen to what they're hearing, but they might be visual people and see the text overlay, and that might resonate with them, and they stop and watch the video. And then lastly, intro motion. Intro motions mean, like, visually, what am I doing? A lot of people have really boring videos. And I'm guilty of this too, because I'm lazy. So it'll be me sitting in my office, looking at the camera, saying an interesting hook. But visually, I'm not doing anything interesting. So you want to think about, what can I visually be doing with props, with different things, that if you see that, you're like, what is that guy about to do with a bucket of paint? He's got a bucket of paint turned up like this way. He's going to pour that paint out, isn't he? I want curiosity, right? So you can try different intro motions, different things happening in that first few seconds. This one, audience testing, not as important nowadays, especially as your account matures, especially as you have more data. What we find really is it's the creative testing, and then it's just really pumping it with data and going broad. Because smart performance campaigns, broad, TikTok, Meta, get really good at finding the right person, right? The more you spend, the more data you give it. But early on, you still want to test different audiences. So this is the exact same thing as the creative testing campaign. The only difference here is instead of looking for a control audience, so the best audience to then start this, you're looking for a winning ad. So the ad becomes the control. So I find a winning ad, cool, I'm going to launch a new campaign. It's going to be called audience testing. I'm going to test different audiences. So each ad group will be a different audience. I'll test different interests, different behaviors, lookalikes. The only change is under that, instead of a new ad, I used a winning ad. So again, I'm controlling the variables. I know that if this works or doesn't work better than the control, it's because of the audience most likely, not because of the ad itself. All right, let's move into scaling, which is what everyone gets excited about. I found a winner, I want to spend a lot more money and make a lot more money. And we put kind of tentative days on this, so you'll see throughout each one of these sections, days 1 through 7, days 7 through 21, days 21 plus, rough timelines. Everyone's gonna be different based on what your daily spend is. But we find, a month in or so, you have found enough winners, enough data in your ad account that you can think about really beginning to put a lot more budget behind winners, scaling spend up to thousands of dollars a day. This is also the stickiest bottle of water I've ever held in my life. They had to pull the labels off of it for the video, so it's just glued to my hand right now. Which would be funny, like the Spider-Man movie. I can't put it down and it just stays there. So scaling, I have 3 options here, okay? Number 1, cost caps, manual bidding. That's me telling the platform, here's what I want to pay to acquire a customer. Gives me a lot of control and efficiency on spend. Then I have a more conservative model, pretty basic, daily budget increases at 20%. Okay, so this audience works really well. I'm spending $100 a day. It's profitable. I'm gonna increase the budget to 120. I'm then gonna watch it for a few days, make sure it's still getting conversions at my target CPA. I don't wanna see that CPAs go up, right? I wanna level it out. If it's still profitable, 2-3 days go by, cool, another 20% increase, another 20% increase. That's less sexy and not as rapid, right? Especially if you're starting at $100 a day. But if you're running the cost caps and you're doing a $1,000 a day budget, that can compound pretty fast if you stack those. And then the third one is smart performance campaigns. So we're gonna break down all 3 of these. Okay, first one is our cost cap campaign. So new campaign, conversion objective, all these campaigns you've seen so far since we got into testing have been conversion campaigns. So cost cap, setting a different bid for every ad group. So I'm taking my winning audience, so the best audience I have, taking my best ads that are profitable right now, I'm moving all of those into this new campaign. Same audience for each one of these ad groups. Ideally, I'm doing 6. Only difference here is the bid. So I'm essentially starting at, what's my target CPA? So if my target cost per acquisition is $100, I'm gonna do a $100 cost cap bid on that first ad group. I'm then gonna duplicate it, and I'm gonna do increments. I'm gonna go down to $90, up to $110, down to $80, up to $120. I might then do one really low just to see if I can pick up some really low cost sales at like $50. Maybe I'll do one really high at $150. What we see is the higher bids sometimes can actually be really profitable because we're being very, very competitive in the auction. And we're telling TikTok, hey, we're willing to spend more than everyone else in the auction. We can get higher feed placement. We can get less ad blindness. And so we can sometimes see with very high bids, really, really low CPAs, which sometimes sounds counterintuitive, but it works. So we want to test the extremes. We want to test the really low bids, we want to test the really high bids, but usually we're going to end up somewhere kind of in this sweet spot here. We're around 1x our target CPA for the ad account. This is called a bid ladder. Ideally, once we find a winning bid here, we can then use just this bid when we want to scale new things. So as we're in creative testing, right, we find 2-3 more winners. Cool, I want to scale these. I'm going to move them to a new scaling campaign. Just use that bid to start out. So this is kind of a testing ground to find the right bid for the ad account, for the offer. This also works really well with ROAS. So if you're running a Shopify store, you're passing value back to TikTok. And so you can optimize not for conversions, but you can optimize for value. And you're telling TikTok, hey, don't just send me the people that are most likely to buy my product at the lowest possible cost. Send me people that are most likely to buy my product and spend the most money, highest value customers. So if you're doing value optimization, you're not going to be bidding for a cost cap. You're going to be bidding for a ROAS, because remember, it's based on value. And so we have members in our coaching program that are doing ROAS-based bidding and seeing great results. Right? So you're telling TikTok, hey, I want a 3x ROAS. And again, down here, because it's a hyper-competitive bid at 3x ROAS, there might not be a lot of auction availability there. But when I do spend money, it's going to be very profitable. So they're able to get really, really low CPAs. This client right here getting $10 CPAs or so on a $30 cost consumer day one subscription product. It's a reoccurring product. So they're hyper profitable day one on a reoccurring product. And it's because they're using ROAS bidding, so they're controlling their profitability there. Then we have smart performance campaigns. So this is where you want to end up here. And I think as we continue to evolve with media buying, with marketing, with AI, this is where we end up. Eventually, like all of us, and sooner, right? So it takes time right now to get to this point because you need ad account maturity. I want to be spending enough money on the ad account, delivering enough conversions for TikTok to know who my buyer is, If I go right to this campaign, day one, TikTok, and also like Facebook, this is Advantage Plus, every platform has this, they don't know who my buyer is. So this campaign essentially doesn't do targeting. I don't do any targeting here. I don't do any bidding here. All I do is check this little box and give it a ton of videos, a ton of text, and TikTok just goes and finds the right person based on account history and combines all my videos and text based on what it thinks is going to perform best for that person and performs. But again, that doesn't work well if there's no data. So if you're brand new to TikTok, you don't want to run this day one. You want to run 3, 4+ weeks. You want to deliver hundreds minimum conversions. So TikTok knows, oh, this company A, this is who their buyer is. So when I launch a smart performance campaign, they know exactly who to look for. I no longer need to tell TikTok, target this interest with this interest, and then exclude this audience and do this and this with this bid. All I do is say, hey, smart performance campaign, you do the work, TikTok, go to town. I'm gonna just feed you with tons and tons of videos, up to 30 of them, and 5 text combinations. The ads don't fatigue as quickly because there's so much variation. Plus there's things called dynamic CTAs, which is also very exciting. So usually it's pick a CTA, a call to action. Learn more, shop now, download now. With dynamic CTAs, I can let TikTok do that. So it'll actually analyze my ads, it'll analyze the landing page, and it might know that in my ad, I reference a 20% off deal. So one of the call to actions might actually say, get your 20% off discount, get 20% off now, get deal. So not only is it giving people different videos with different text combinations, but each person might also get a different call to action. So this gets really exciting, and this becomes very, very scalable. And with TikTok, allows you to combat ad fatigue, which is one of the biggest challenges, because TikTok really just it absorbs creative. It just churns through creative so fast. With this, we're seeing things last a lot longer, smart performance campaigns. So one thing I want to wrap with, and then maybe we'll have time for a question or two. They said I can do some Q&A, is just some tools that we really like, that we really recommend for different things that you might be needing for your business. So we can start up here on the top. So when it comes to video editing, CapCut, Descript, 2 great options. CapCut is a free option owned by ByteDance, so you can link it directly to your TikTok ad account. Amazing video editor on your phone, desktop, web. Descript, absolutely love Descript. It's a paid platform, paid tool, incredibly powerful. You can do voice cloning. So let's say you shoot a video and you said the wrong word, right? You can actually clone your voice. You can go in there on the transcript, retype the word, and it'll re-say it. So you don't have to reshoot the video. So Descript, really, really cool. It also has, if you're reading off a teleprompter, it can AI clone your eyes, so it doesn't look like you're reading off the teleprompter. I shit you not, I spent like a week trying to shoot a VSL, my first VSL I ever shot, this is a while ago, and I just couldn't memorize it. I just wasn't good at it. And so I did the teleprompter thing, and it looked terrible. And I reshot a bunch of times so I didn't have to use teleprompter, and like a week later they came out with this feature that could have just done it all for me. And so yeah, I wasted a lot of time there. So we have those tools for creative. We have AI, we have tools like Creatify, which is we talked about already, 11 Labs, which is for your voice cloning. In video, you can grab like a news story, you can grab a quick prompt, throw it in there, it'll create an amazing social video, pulling in B-roll text, it'll narrate it. It's great for creating content, like a lot of content really fast. ChatGPT, obviously. HeyGen's really cool, it's blowing up. You can create a digital clone of yourself and have that virtual you, basically looks just like you, do videos, do presentations, which is pretty cool. Then we have tools for tracking, Heroes, Triple Whale. Triple Whale is great for Shopify stores. We have No Commerce for post-purchase surveying. So you buy a product, now you can actually get asked, hey, where did you hear about the product from? This really helps with TikTok, because TikTok drives a ton of awareness, a ton of first touch point attribution, but doesn't get a lot of credit. So if you're running just off of TikTok Ads Manager's data, you'll think my TikTok CPA is way too high. In reality, if you actually look at your effective TikTok CPA based on how it impacts your other ad channels down funnel, it's a much lower CPA. So No Commerce helps you get a better picture of that. What else do we have? We have creative reporting, Motion app. If you're gonna do creative testing at scale, a tool like Motion is absolutely amazing. We have Foreplay and Talk Audit, which are great tools for doing research. Foreplay, you can save creative you see on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook. You can do creative briefs. Talk Audit, actually Michael and our team built that. It's a Chrome extension. You go to any TikTok profile. It can sort the entire profile by most likes, most views, most shares on every video. Does a bulk export of all the videos ever done on the profile in a Google Sheet with all the stats, all the analytics. It's an amazing tool for research. And then down there we have data connectors. So Supermetrics, Funnel.io are great tools for that as well, meaning connecting your TikTok ads data to a Looker Studio or a place where you can visualize data and build out reports for your team. So I think we have 4 minutes. If you want to scan this, you can either spend 4 minutes scanning this, or maybe we can do, I don't know, 2 or 3 questions. This is the first time I've actually ended a presentation with time for questions. So this is a huge feat for me. Maybe next year I'll have time for 3 or 4. Thank you guys, I really appreciate it. We'll do any questions you guys have, and I'll make some time out there for questions as well.
Hi, I've seen your videos, your ads, they're awesome. So I make talking head videos about digital advertising, and it's boring AF. It's like 7 ways to optimize your Google ads. I'm sitting here. It's my face and my background. Any ideas for B2B advertising or B2B content creation that is like more interesting? And by the way, my most viral videos are not about the stuff I sell. So that's cool. Thanks.
Yeah, it's a great question. I think there's a few ways you can play that, right? One is you can lean into it and just like play into the fact that this is really boring and like roll, like really like go all in on that character of being like another really boring video from another really boring expert talking about the most boring topic, right? And that's like not a great hook. Like we would work on a better hook for you, but you know, really leaning into that character of not trying to pretend like you should be really excited about this. But listen, like this is gonna be the most boring video you saw today on social media, but it's actually one that's gonna make you money, right? So you can like play into that where, you know, hey, you can go watch videos that are entertaining. You can go watch a Mr. Beast video, but it's not gonna make you money. It's not gonna grow your business. So like, hey, go watch that, go entertain yourself, then come back to me when you're ready to be bored, but actually get value. So that's one thing. The other is like you can look at, are there topics that are really interesting and engaging that further amplify my authority that I can create content around? So that's why I do the neuroscience stuff and the behavioral economics stuff and talk about these interesting stories, because they're fascinating, they're interesting stories. It's like how Red Bull used garbage in London to launch the product, right? Well, Red Bull, when they were trying to launch in London, they went around to make it seem like they're really popular, and they would go to all the bars in London, okay? They would crush cans, they hired people to crush cans of Red Bull, and load up dumpsters and garbage cans, all on the routes people would walk, leaving bars and nightclubs. People walk around London, there's Red Bulls everywhere, right? Perceived popularity. So videos like that, people like watching, they get a lot of views. It's not selling my product, but it's selling me as somebody that's knowledgeable when it comes to marketing and growth hacking and things like that. So you can also lean into those interesting topics, and that can funnel people in organically to want to do business with you. Would you run those as ads? The stuff you could do both. Yeah, I mean, I would do them organically, and then ones that work, you could run into kind of triple E type retargeting strategy. Yeah. Yep, you got it.
Max.
Yep.
Thanks for the talk, my friend.
Of course.
Question for you. When it comes to ad fatigue, at which point do you turn off the winning ad? Like, at which point? Is it just the CPA?
When it stops making money.
Is it this?
I don't, like, it's a great question, but a lot of people get so hung up on frequency. Like, it's got a 3 frequency, I need to turn it off. Like, when was, like, do you think that, like, when they're, you know, Coca-Cola's, like, they're having their corporate marketing meetings, like, I think people are seeing too many Coke ads. Like, there are really just too many, right? It's like, they never have that thing. They want to be everywhere. So I think frequencies become this negative thing, and in reality, I don't think it's a negative thing. I think if performance starts going down, it means people are seeing it too much and not liking it, and there's no more value out of it. It's annoying. So you'll see that in the numbers, right? If this ad's crushing, it's getting a $10 CPA, even if the frequency is 4 or 5, doesn't matter, but all of a sudden, if this week CPA shot up to 20, 30, 40, we need to do something about this.
So the first signal, you pretty much cut it off.
Looking at, yeah, profitability, yeah.
I think we have time for one more question.
Don't all speak at once.
We'll come back here. No, we're gonna get you a microphone. We can't hear you. Okay.
I meant this. I meant that. I didn't do that. Yeah.
And I mean the recording.
Yeah, the recording.
Are not going to hear your question.
Perfect. So do you feel that TikTok is a blue ocean for even like high ticket items? Is that still is that something that you have seen success or you think can be successful, or is it much lower ticket?
It's like, I'm so glad you asked that question, because that is, I'm going to take it back. I said the biggest misconception is frequency. I take it back. That's not. It's this over here. People think it's only $10 widgets that work. We've seen this really interesting disparity where, started about a year and a half ago, consulting clients started coming in, selling, doing book a call funnels, and that working really, really well on TikTok. So like Cole Gordon, for example, was one of our consulting clients, all does high ticket. He started moving a ton of his spend over from YouTube because TikTok was doing so well. And so a lot of that has to do with, and our team's done an amazing job of this. Like, Jason right there has like done an amazing job building out qualifications. So we have a really, really good application system for our offer. We make sure we vet people, we grade people. So we're only sending qualified leads to our sales team, and we're only passing back qualified leads, data back to TikTok. So we're really early on getting rid of all the crap leads and low quality leads. 'Cause when you start, you will get low quality leads, but if you set up the right systems, the right ranking, the right scoring on leads, it can work really well. And the margins are so much better, right? You have so much more room to work with if you're selling a $12,000 product than a $12 widget. Yeah. Yep, you got it. Happy to answer any questions out there too if anybody.
Awesome. Let's give it up for Max Finn, everyone.